When you think of Toyota, your mind immediately jumps to bulletproof reliability, sensible family haulers, and the kind of engineering that ensures their cars will outlive most civilizations. But hidden deep in their history, long before the Lexus LFA screamed to 9,000 RPM and before the Supra made turbocharging an art form, Toyota did something completely unexpected. They built a Hemi V8. Now, I know what you're thinking. A Hemi Toyota? Surely not. Because when the word Hemi is uttered, images of British American muscle cars with enough torque to shift tectonic plates come to mind. But Toyota's take on the hemispherical combustion chamber wasn't designed to lay waste to drag strips. Instead, it was built for a completely different purpose: smooth, refined power in Japan's answer to the world's best luxury sedans. This is the story of Toyota's first mass-produced V8, a little-known engine that blended cutting-edge engineering with rock-solid reliability, all wrapped up in an elegant package fit for Japan's elite. So let me tell you all about it. Now, the 1960s were a transformative period for the automotive industry. American manufacturers were obsessed with stuffing the largest possible engines into their cars, resulting in a golden era of high-performance V8s. Across the Pacific, Toyota had different priorities. They wanted to challenge the dominance of American luxury sedans in the Japanese market by producing a high-end chauffeur-driven car for executives and government officials. At the time, Toyota had never built a V8. Their engineers were experts at efficient four-cylinder engines but had little experience with anything larger. So as many ambitious car makers do, they studied the competition. Rumor has it that Toyota acquired and dismantled multiple American V8s, carefully analyzing their strengths and weaknesses before designing their own. The result was the Toyota V engine family, first introduced in the 1964 Crown 8. Codenamed the V, Toyota's first V8 was an all-aluminium 2.6-liter engine, modest by American standards but innovative for the Japan market. Unlike Chrysler's Hemi engines, which used cast iron blocks, Toyota's V8 took advantage of lightweight aluminum construction. The cylinder heads featured hemispherical combustion chambers with a centrally placed spark plug and 2 valves per cylinder, a design that promoted efficient combustion and better airflow. The engine was under square with a bore and stroke of 78mm by 68mm and had a compression ratio of 9:1. While this configuration wasn't intended for raw power, it provided smooth operation and a respectable output of 114 horsepower as well as 145 pound-feet of torque. This was then paired with a 3-speed automatic transmission and installed in the Crown 8, a full-size luxury sedan aimed at Japan's executives who previously looked to Cadillac or Lincoln for their automotive indulgences. But Toyota wasn't done after their first attempt. They continued refining their V8 design over the next 3 decades, gradually increasing displacement and improving performance. The second generation of Toyota's Hemi-headed V8s came with a displacement increase to 3 liters. By lengthening the stroke to 78mm, power rose to 150 horsepower and torque to 173 pound-feet of torque. This version was used in the first generation of Toyota's Century, a flagship sedan that would become Japan's equivalent of a Rolls-Royce. Then Toyota continued refining the V8, enlarging its bore to 83mm and increasing displacement to 3.4 liters. Power output climbed once again to 177 horsepower and torque rose to 205 pound-feet of torque. This iteration remained under the hood of the Century, now a favorite among high-ranking officials and executives who valued its smooth, whisper-quiet power delivery. Later versions of the 4V also featured a catalytic converter to meet tightening emission standards in its country. And the final and most powerful evolution of Toyota's Hemi V8 was the 5V. With a displacement of 4 liters, this was the largest version, featuring an improved overhead valve setup and electronic fuel injection. It produced 188 horsepower and 240 pound-feet of torque. Though still not a high-performance engine in the traditional sense, it was meticulously tuned for refinement and durability. This version powered the Century until 1997, when Toyota made the radical decision to replace the V8 with an even more ambitious project, Japan's first and only mass-produced V12, which I have made an entire video on before, so if you're interested, go and watch that one after this one. Anyways, one of the most intriguing aspects of Toyota's Hemi V8s is how conservatively they were tuned. While American manufacturers squeezed as much power as possible from their Hemis, Toyota deliberately held back. The reason? Well, longevity and refinement. These engines were designed for luxury sedans, not sports cars. They needed to run smoothly and quietly for hundreds of thousands of miles without missing a beat. The lower power output meant reduced stress on internal components, which in turn translated to legendary reliability. It wasn't about 0 to 60 times or quarter-mile sprints. It was about providing an effortless, dignified driving experience. But despite its technical sophistication, Toyota's Hemi V8 never gained the legendary status of Chrysler's Monster 426. It wasn't built for drag racing, nor was it stuffed into flashy sports cars. Instead, it quietly served Japan's elite, powering some of the most respected luxury cars the country ever produced. Today, the Toyota Hemi remains a rare engine, since it was only used in the Crown 8 and the Century. It never saw widespread adoption. Enthusiasts rarely modify or swap them because Toyota's 4- and 6-cylinder engines are more practical for tuning. But that said, a few hot rodders have bolted superchargers onto these V8s, proving that they can handle far more power than Toyota ever intended. And to end this video off, this engine wasn't about speed or power. It was made to be bulletproof, and bulletproof it was. In fact, this engine makes me think of one of Toyota's other V8s called the 1UZ FE, which takes reliable to a whole other level. Again, I have made a video on that engine in the past, so if you enjoyed this one, go and watch that one after this. Anyways, at the end of the video, please have a like and subscribe to the channel. And if you did like it, as I said, I've done a bunch of videos on engines before. So if you like this one, you'll like those too. So just go through them, see if there's something else you like. I'll check you guys in the next one. Cheers, eh?